Imagine waking up and then immediately grabbing your phone to start scrolling on Instagram Reels. Like, this habit is intuitively bad. I don't even need to explain it, but you still do it. Morning is the most important part of the day because it sets the tone for the rest of the day. That's why you see successful people taking cold showers right after waking up. Ice cold baths. Do you think they like it? Hell no. They hate it. But they do it because it's the most difficult task of the day. If you do it, then the rest of the day becomes easy. It sets up the tone for the rest of your day. And what you do? You wake up groggy and then grab your phone and start scrolling and then you fall asleep again. I have seen it with my own eyes. I was like this before. You're releasing cheap dopamine. Imagine if I randomly enter your room in the middle of the darkness, steal your phone, steal your jar of coffee. Next day you wake up, there is no phone for you to grab, no dopamine, no coffee for you to drink and get caffeinated. You're not gonna be able to even wake up from the bed. That's how pathetic you have become. You destroyed your discipline and willpower so much now that you lost control over your ability to even wake up in the morning. What's the solution for this? So the solution is you have to say it out loud. I promise myself tomorrow I will not grab my phone for at least 1 hour after waking up. Positive affirmations, saying it out loud is important. It works. You can do research. I'm not gonna cite fucking any study. You can just research positive affirmations, and even nerdy scientists found out that it clearly has some benefits. Yeah, I'm not gonna advise you to get rid of the habit entirely because it's not realistic. You have formed a deep habit within yourself. How are you gonna get rid of it in one day? It's not gonna happen. What is realistic for you to do is not to do it for 1 hour after waking up. Sounds ridiculous, but imagine two people. Both of them spend majority of their day scrolling on Instagram Reels, scrolling on TikTok, watching YouTube or whatever. The only difference between them is that the first person doesn't scroll on his phone for at least 1 hour after waking up, while the second one does it immediately after waking up. The first person is infinitely more productive than the second one, even though their day looks pretty the same. The first person at least wakes up and does something productive. Maybe he goes for a walk. Maybe he washes his teeth and takes a shower. Maybe he reads a book. Maybe he studies a little bit for only 1 hour. And then he starts scrolling on his phone and he does it for 8 hours straight. Still, he at least did something in the morning. He has some baseline of discipline and decency to start with. The second guy is lost. The second guy who grabs his phone immediately after waking up is just set up for failure in his life. The first person can start slowly incrementing his 1 hour to 1 hour and 5 minutes, 1 hour and 10 minutes. He has momentum of change. He has at least baseline of decency, as I already told you. That's the only solution I can think of. You can read all the books, try all the techniques, but at the end of the day, you just have to stop doing it. There are no fucking tactics. There's no shortcuts. Just don't grab your phone. Just don't do it. Second terrible habit I see people doing is procrastinating on small tasks such as washing the dishes or tidying up your room. They think, 5 minutes of washing the dishes is easy. I can do it tomorrow. It will only take 5 minutes. Today I studied for 2 hours. I'm a productive person. Creating excuses and procrastinating on small tasks actually have deep effect on your personality. Every time you do any kind of action, no matter how small it is, it casts votes into the identity that embodies the action. Let me explain. When you do any kind of physical activity, no matter how small it is, even one push-up, the identity that one push-up embodies is being an athlete, a hard-working individual who takes care of his own body. Even if you're overweight right now, never trained in your life in the last 10 years, you're insecure of your body. Even this kind of guy. Right now, he has 100% of the votes cast into the identity of being a lazy individual who is insecure about his body. Now, he does one push-up every day for 2 months straight. Now it's 99% of the votes are cast into being a lazy, fat individual. 1% now is cast into being an athlete, someone who enjoys training. Now he thinks to himself, Leia, let me do 2 push-ups. 1 push-up seems too easy. And he does it for 2 months again. Now it's 98% of his votes are being lazy and 2% of being a disciplined person. Eventually, he might make it 51%. Now he starts training rigorously. He starts working out. He transformed his body. Can you see how one small action of 1 push-up a day led to a domino effect of changing his whole personality and identity. The same thing is with the small tasks such as washing the dish. Every time you skip it, you cast vote into the identity of being a lazy idiot who falls prey to procrastinations every time. It might ruin your life, even though it seems small. It's not only making you less disciplined, it also makes you less respectable in front of other people. Because imagine your friend randomly, spontaneously entering your room and seeing how untidy it is. The mess, random t-shirt on your chair, random pair of socks in the corner of the room. You're studying this, like books are thrown everywhere, thrown around. It's not picturing you in a good light. Even if your friend doesn't show that he was disgusted deep inside, unconsciously he will lose respect to you, because think about it. You're basically telling himself, yeah, look at my room. I don't have enough decency and discipline to even spend 5 minutes of my day tidying up my environment. That's how bad my life is right now. That's what you're telling to your friend. Like, that's what you're signaling to them. Of course, they're going to lose respect to you. The third terrible habit a lot of people do is not being an active listener. It's ruining your social skills, ruining it. Some people constantly interrupt you, change the topic of the conversation every 2 seconds. And you can see in their face, they're not listening to what you're telling them. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. It is childish and it makes you look like a complete idiot. Healthy conversation requires you to be an active listener, to actually understand what the other person is talking about without having an impulse to overtalk. Your mind has to be clear. You shouldn't form any continuation of the conversation. You shouldn't form your own opinion. You just listen. And then after they finish up, you can ask questions regarding the topic. Don't change the topic of the conversation. Don't start talking about yourself. No one likes it. It's probably related to the attention deficit these people received from their parents when they were children. Now they have unresolved trauma that they try to overcompensate with always trying to take the most space in the conversation. That's how their brain is trying to get attention. It's not a healthy way to get attention. It's actually making you seem like an idiot, as I already told you. You're putting yourself in a terrible position for making new friends and improving your existing relationships. No one wants to talk to that obnoxious guy who always over talks and change the topics of the conversation. No one likes him. And these people start to think, yeah, people are so mean to me. Why don't people respect me? If I was handsome and tall, they would probably love me more. No, it's because you're retarded. You're an idiot who needs to work on his social skills. That's a problem. It's all about you. How do you deal with this habit? The problem is that you lack consciousness in your mind. Like, you're constantly living your life in autopilot mode, not thinking about anything. You're not even aware of your impulses. You're not even aware of the fact that you're interrupting people because you lack consciousness. How do you build up consciousness? It's like a meta skill. Meta skill is a skill that affects everything else in your life. Sleeping is meta skill, because if you sleep well, then you're going to be more productive at your work, at your relationships, at everything. Or discipline is a meta skill. It helps you build relationships. It helps you build businesses. It helps you with everything. The same with consciousness. It's a meta skill that you need to work on. One of the obvious ways you can work on it is doing stretching and yoga. Like, when you stretch, I feel the ligaments around here. I feel the muscles here getting tight. You become conscious of your own body, and then you push even harder and harder. You become uncomfortable. Like, despite the hardships, you're trying to push your body. That also builds consciousness. You can do any physical activity, running, resistance training. When you're going to the failure at the set of bench press, when you start feeling your pec muscle so much, you become aware of yourself. Or another powerful tool you can use is meditating every day. When you focus on your breath and your mind wanders away thinking about some random girl or your random assignment in 1 week, you regain your attention and focus back on your breath. And you do it consistently every day. This is what builds consciousness. Boring answer, nothing fancy, no stupid ass tactics of transforming your life in 8 weeks. And now when you become more conscious, imagine yourself being conscious. Now when you have an impulse to interrupt, you will think to yourself, hold on, why am I not being an active listener? This guy from the video told me to be an active listener. I will be an active listener. Or even the first and second habit I described. Every time you wake up in the morning, grab your phone, you're like, why am I grabbing my phone? It's gonna ruin my whole day, so I'm not gonna grab my phone. That's what your mind will tell you when you become a more conscious person. Or the second habit, or not washing the dishes. Your mind will literally tell you, yeah, wash the dishes, or easier you will form the identity of being a procrastinator. That's what your mind will literally tell you. It's a magic skill.